Welcome, historians, to another episode of His Story. We are so glad to have you back to hear another amazing story from God's point of view. Let's welcome Enzo Giuseppe to the channel to tell us about Israel.
Thanks, Zoe. Welcome, historians. In our last episode, Jacob was fleeing from Laban. Let's see how that turned out. Jacob met with Rachel and Leah to discuss leaving their father's home.
I see that your father does not regard me with favor as he did before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength, yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not permit him to harm me. Then the angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob, and I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift up your eyes and see. All the goats that mate with the flock are striped, spotted, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and made a vow to me. Now arise, go out from this land and return to the land of your kindred.
Is there any portion or inheritance left to us in our father's house? Are we not regarded by him as foreigners? For he has sold us, and he has indeed devoured our money.
All the wealth that God has taken away from our father belongs to us and to our children. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do.
Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel stole her father's household gods. Then Jacob arose and set his sons and his wives on camels. He drove away all his livestock, all his property that he had gained, the livestock in his possession that he had acquired in Paddan Aram, to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. Jacob tricked Laban the Aramean by not telling him that he intended to flee. He fled with all that he had, and arose and crossed the Euphrates, and set his face toward the hill country of Gilead. When it was told to Laban on the third day that Jacob had fled, he took his kinsman with him and pursued him for 7 days, and followed close after him into the hill country of Gilead. But God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream by night, and said to him,
Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad.
Laban caught up to Jacob and pitched his tent near Jacob in the hill country in Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob,
What have you done, that you have tricked me and driven away my daughters like captives of the sword? Why did you flee secretly and trick me, and did not tell me, so that I might have sent you away with mirth and songs, with tambourine and lyre? And why did you not permit me to kiss my sons and my daughters farewell? Now you have done foolishly. It is in my power to do you harm. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. And now you have gone away because you long greatly for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods?
Because I was afraid, for I thought that you would take your daughters from me by force. Anyone with whom you find your God shall not live. In the presence of our kinsmen, point out what I have that is yours and take it.
Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the idol. Laban searched Zilpah's and Bilhah's tent, Jacob's tent and Leah's tent, and found nothing. When he entered Rachel's tent, she was sitting on the bag with the idols in them. She gave an excuse as to why she did not rise to greet him. Laban searched the tent and found nothing.
What is my offense? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? For you have felt through all my goods. What have you found of all your household goods? Set it here before my kinsmen and your kinsmen, that they may decide between us two, these 20 years that I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried, and I have not eaten the rams of your flocks. What was torn by wild beasts I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself. From my hand you required it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was. By day the heat consumed me, and the cold by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock, and you have changed my wages 10 times. God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been on my side, surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God saw my affliction and the labor of my hands and rebuked you last night.
The daughters are my daughters, the children are my children, the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what can I do this day for these my daughters, or for their children whom they have borne? Come now, let us make a covenant, you and me, and let it be a witness between you and me.
So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar.
Gather stones. This is Gilead.
This is called Jagar Sahadutha. This heap is a witness between you and me today.
Because Jacob named it Gilead, Laban also called it Gilead and Mizpah, which means watchpost.
The Lord watch between you and me when we are out of one another's sight. If you oppress my daughters, or if you take wives besides my daughters, although no one is with us. See, God is witness between you and me. See this heap and the pillar which I have set between you and me. This heap is a witness, and the pillar is a witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and you will not pass over this heap and this pillar to me to do harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us.
Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac, and Jacob offered a sacrifice in the hill country and called his kinsmen to eat bread. They ate bread and spent the night in the hill country. Early in the morning, Laban arose and kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them. Then Laban departed and returned home. 2 angels appeared on the road ahead of Jacob.
This is God's camp. I will call it Mahanaim.
Jacob sent messengers to seek out Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir, the country of Edom, to give him a message.
Speak what I say to my lord Esau. Thus says your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, male servants and female servants. I have sent to tell my lord in order that I may find favor in your sight.
Jacob heard back from his messengers, and according to them, Esau was set to arrive with 400 men. Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people who were with him and the flocks and herds and camels into 2 camps, thinking,
If Esau comes to the one camp and attacks it, then the camp that is left will escape. O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord who said to me, return to your country and to your kindred, that I may do you good. I am not worthy of the least of all the deeds of steadfast love and all the faithfulness that you have shown to your servant. For with only my staff I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become 2 camps. Please deliver me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, that he may come and attack me, the mothers with the children. But you said, I will surely do you good and make your offspring as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude.
Jacob stayed there that night, and from what he had with him, he sent 3 separate presents of livestock for his brother Esau, thinking, I may appease him with the present that goes ahead of me, and afterward I shall see his face. Perhaps he will accept me. Jacob stayed that night in the camp so that he could cross the ford of the Jabbok with his wives and children. He sent them across the stream and was on the other side alone. A man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him.
Let me go, for the day is broken.
I will not let you go unless you bless me.
What is your name?
Jacob.
Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men, and have prevailed.
Please tell me your name.
Why is it that you ask my name?
For I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered.
The man blessed Jacob, and Jacob called the name of the place Peniel. Jacob met Esau and his company of 400 men on a field. Esau ran to meet him and embraced Jacob. Jacob introduced his family to Esau and explained why he sent him the 3 gifts of livestock. Esau left his brother and made his way back to the land of Seir. Jacob promised to follow Esau back to his homeland in Seir, but instead journeyed to Succoth and settled there for a while. He built himself a house, made booths for his livestock, and raised his family. After many years had passed, Jacob journeyed to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. He bought a piece of land from the sons of Hamor and set up his encampment. He erected an altar and called it El Elohe Israel. Leah and Jacob's daughter, Dinah, went to meet the women of the land. Hamar's son, whose name is Shechem, was the prince of the city of Shechem. He saw Dinah and seized her against her will. His soul was drawn to Dinah, and he loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to her. Shechem spoke to his father Hamor and told him what he had done. He said to his father, "Get me this girl for my wife." Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, but his sons were with his livestock in the field, so Jacob held his peace until they came, and Hamor the father of Shechem went out to Jacob to speak with him. The sons of Jacob had come in from the field as soon as they heard of it, and the men were indignant and very angry because he had done an outrageous thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, for such a thing must not be done. Hamor and Shechem spoke with Jacob and his sons and made an agreement that they would join their families in marriage, but Hamor and Shechem would soon realize that the sons of Jacob had no intention of a permanent union. They agreed deceitfully, and 3 days later Simeon and Levi took their swords and killed Hamor, Shechem, and all the men and plundered the city of its riches, women, and children.
Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there. Make an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau.
So they gave to Jacob all the foreign gods that they had, and the rings that were in their ears. Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree that was near Shechem. And as they journeyed, a terror from God fell upon the cities that were around them, so that they did not pursue the sons of Jacob.
Your name is Jacob. No longer shall your name be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name. I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall come from your own body. The land that I gave to Abraham and Isaac I will give to you, and I will give the land to your offspring after you.
Jacob set up a pillar of stone and poured out a drink offering on it and poured oil on it. They journeyed from Bethel, and on the way to Ephrath, Rachel went into labor, and she had hard labor. And when her labor was at its hardest, she delivered a baby boy. And as her soul was departing, she said,
Tell Jacob that his name shall be called Ben-Aven.
Jacob called his son Benjamin instead. So Rachel died, and she was buried on the way to Ephrath, which today it is called Bethlehem. And Jacob set up a pillar over her tomb. It is the pillar of Rachel's tomb, which is there to this day. Israel journeyed on and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Ader. And while Israel lived in that land, Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, Rachel's servant and his father's concubine. And Israel heard of it. And Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, where Abraham and Isaac had sojourned. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac breathed his last, and he died, and was gathered to his people, old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him together. Once again, the two brothers, Jacob and Esau, went their separate ways. Then Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and all the members of his household, his livestock, all his beasts, and all his property that he had acquired in the land of Canaan. He went into a land away from his brother Jacob. So Esau settled in the hill country of Seir, in the land of Edom, and became the father of the Edomites. Jacob had 12 sons, Reuben and Levi, Simeon and Judah, Asher and Gad, Naphtali and Dan, Zebulun and Issachar, Joseph and Benjamin. From Abraham to Isaac, and through Jacob, whose name is now Israel, a nation was born. 12 sons became 12 tribes, the nation of Israel. Historians, our next series about the life of Joseph, one of the 12 brothers, is coming up next. For now, let's head over to the podcast studio to discuss this episode with Zoe.
Welcome back, historians. Enzo, it's great to have you in the His Story studio. Thank you for narrating such an amazing yet difficult story to share. There is so much to take in with this episode and so much to learn. But what are the main points you would like to cover today?
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Zoe. I am so excited to be a part of the His Story team. This episode had so many delicate pieces to it, and although there is much we could address, I'm going to stick to 2 major points that coincide with each other. The first point is that Jacob, who is now called Israel, was committed to the will of God. This is evident by the fact that Jacob moved whenever and wherever God told him to move. Even though he made mistakes on his own, his heart was for the Lord, and so he did what God told him to do. The second point is that Israel was committed to the ways of the Lord. He marked pillars and sites to honor God. He built altars to worship God, and he commanded his people to purify themselves, change their garments, and give up their foreign gods, which he buried under the terebinth tree at Shechem. He wanted himself and his people to come before the Lord pure in heart at Bethel.
Wow, Enzo! Those are the most important lessons we can take away from this story. Israel was committed to the will and the ways of God, and we should be as well by doing whatever God is asking us to do. Thank you, Enzo, and thank you, historians, for joining us today. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Join us next week for the first part of our series about the life of Joseph. See you Sunday at 9 a.m. Thanks, Enzo.
I'd like to help more.
Great!